All right, ladies and gentlemen. First off, amazing night. Congratulations to the new champion, bringing a belt back to Bournemouth. I'm going to open it up to questions, but I'm going to first kind of toss it to Ben to at least frame the night a little bit. Ben, it's been a mission of 𝗏𝗧, build fighters, build markets. This is one of those situations where you can do both. 10 months ago, you came to Bournemouth with Chris Billam-Smith headlining a card. Sold out, fight of the year. Came back a few months later, sold out, knockout of the year. Now you come, and now you've been a part of bringing a world championship fight to Bournemouth. I feel like you couldn't even script it.
Very late. It's very late. No, it's been incredible. Bournemouth has been special. I remember a few people convincing me Bournemouth was the place to come, and we signed Chris, and we didn't know what to expect, to be honest. And the first fight against 𝗧𝗵𝗲 was special, and the team just fell in love with the place from there, and started building this vision towards Chris Billam-Smith world title fight at the stadium, and it just sort of gathered momentum. The whole town got behind it, the whole South Coast seemed to get behind it as well, and just to culminate like this, I think a couple of weeks ago, I imagine Chris has been visualising this for a long time, but it dawned on me how special this could be tonight, and the atmosphere, the whole night, the whole build-up, the fans have been incredible, but to deliver a world title for this man, and you need a superstar, you need a star. Every big town, big city, big boxing place needs a star, and Bournemouth have Chris Billam-Smith, and I really believe he's provided one of the most memorable nights the South Coast will ever see, but also hopefully created a legacy for boxing on the South Coast, because it just doesn't get a lot of love, and Saturday tonight was incredible.
Sure, it's been a pleasure, of course, working with Chris and seeing the amount of support that Bournemouth has embraced with boxing, and embraced the show, and embraced the lights and everything, and tonight was a really special moment, huh?
Yeah, and I will just say to 𝗪𝗺𝗀𝗀, I think, look, this was a voluntary defence. This was a fight that he didn't have to take. He knows how good and dangerous Chris Billam-Smith was, so for a champion to come away, so to speak, to stack everything against himself and come into the Lions Den, I think deserves a huge amount of credit, because we don't see that a lot in boxing, especially British boxing, to go and do that. And yeah, fair play to Lawrence, and obviously congratulations to Chris and Shane for an unbelievable game plan.
Now Chris, I'm going to come to you, and I'm just going to ask you a simple question. How does it feel? Comments?
I haven't really got the words at the moment, to be honest. It's everything's quite sunk in. It was a grueling fight, you know, physical, pretty tough. I've been pretty ill this week, and didn't rehydrate as much, go as heavy as I normally do, so the energy levels were a bit low in there. But Shane came out of a game plan, as always, and the game plan was to stay safe early on, the first 3 rounds, and you know, a lot of people probably thought at that point that I'd bottled it, but we knew the game plan, and then just start pushing, and we knew we'd find the shots. As I said in the build-up, you would find the shots, and obviously that 4th round found the shot that sort of changed the momentum of the fight, and from then on I knew I could do enough to just keep going, even with the energy feeling quite low. But yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe it. You know, Shane took me on in 2017, and here we are. Just literally, it was. I think I joined the first week of June, so we're 6 years on now, and within 6 years we've turned me from a very raw fighter to world champion, and I owe so much to Shane and the McGuigan family. Many people along the way have helped me, but that family have been just so good to me, and you know, they're part of my family now, and I'm very grateful to have them as my team.
Shane, earlier this week you said if you could see Chris hoist a world title above his head, that would be one of the proudest moments of your career. So, what do you think?
I've got 2 of my former fighters here, Luke Campbell and George Groves, and obviously Lawrence Okolie, so you know, they're better at fighting than me, but it is my proudest moment, I'm not going to lie. It's the biggest win for us. I met Chris through sparring with 𝗵𝗶. 𝗵𝗶 won his world title on May the 27th. And this is the same day, outdoors, on Sky Sports. Different promoter. Thank you, Ben, for believing. And it just felt like the stars were aligned. He's worked so hard. He came in my gym in 2015, we started working in 2017, and in 2023 he's become world champion. So he looks for 1%, he looks for those little extra add-ons, and the most important thing is he believes in himself, he believes in his team, he believes in strategy, and he's proved it.
Open it up to questions.
Chris, you said you were ill in the week. How bad was it, and would it ever even get to a point where you might have to pull out?
No, I was never pulling out this fight. There's not a chance.
He might not have, but I was looking at it.
Yeah.
It's not one we can reschedule.
Yeah, but I'm not letting 15,000 people down. No way. I was getting in that ring. Yeah, I had sickness diarrhea on Tuesday. Wake up Tuesday morning. All the training had been done, but yeah, I was pretty ill. Got a bug. Tried to sort of fasted for about 24 hours to try and get rid of it, and then ate a little bit, and then yeah, just carried on till Thursday. So yeah, it's hard to. I mean, making weight was easy, but yeah, it wasn't nice. You know, I felt like I was really low on energy. Putting the weight back on wasn't. I didn't put anywhere near as much weight on as I normally would either, because I still my stomach. I only started eating yesterday, for the Friday after weigh-in. From Thursday morning, I think was the last time I ate. So yeah, doctor had a go at me earlier when I told him, because I had to lie to him. But like I said, I was never ever letting those fans down. I'll just turn up, 36 minutes of action, and give it everything. And can't, with a fan base like that, you can't let them down. So yeah, I was never, for me, I was never pulling out a fight.
You must have thought.
We'll try to get you a microphone.
You've waited all this time for a world title fight, and you get your big dream, and then you get sick the week of the fight.
Yeah, well, I had a fantastic camp. Everything went well, and I was like, I knew it was too good to be true. So yeah,
you were drinking the whole way through, and you were able to hold waters down and
yeah,
electrolytes and stuff. So
yeah, I was just smashing 𝗪𝗏lights in, and basically through the week. But yeah, and yeah.
Chris, how much did your home fans spur you on tonight?
True, yeah. I mean, I was emotional in that ring walk. It was mad. It was hard to contain. Obviously, I did a ring walk rehearsal yesterday without the fans, and that was emotional in itself. But then with the fans, I think ring walking first probably helped that, because I thought, right, take a little bit of it and use it use it as fuel. Yeah, they're incredible, and they have been from the off. As soon as Ben brought the show down here last summer against 𝗧𝗏, town's been behind me, and it's just, I'm so fortunate to have that backing, because not everyone gets it. I'm fortunate to be from a town like Bournemouth that's been starved with boxing for 75 years since for a world title fight. The football club have been absolutely phenomenal with me as well, helping build my fan base, because they've looked after me in terms of getting me on the pitch since I won the Commonwealth title. In fact, got on the pitch before my pro debut. The night before, we had a Friday night game. 𝗵𝗶 sorted me out, and he had a contact at the club and got me on the pitch with on the night before my pro debut. So and the club have been so accommodating, and they're obviously a massive part of the town. And then they've got the fans involved, and yeah, the fans are everything. We're here because of them. At the end of the day, they turned up twice last year, and then they sold out. They bought all the tickets for the stadium. So yeah, they're phenomenal.
Chris, what did you find that Lawrence? Or what did you find that the most difficult aspect that Lawrence was giving you throughout the fight?
Have a guess.
Just to add on to that, do you find, obviously you've sparred thousands of rounds with him, and you've obviously trained him as well, having done the game plan, were you expecting the excessive clinching?
Yeah, especially once I hit him. once I hurt him, I knew that it'd be more and more like that. But it was, like I said, the energy was low. It wasn't ideal for me, energy-wise. I would have liked to have gone through the gears a bit more, but and Shane was getting frustrated with that but understandably. But then I was just sort of managing the effort, and I was obviously got the knockdown, and then I knew I was hurting him and just picking my spots. But yeah, that was obviously the excessive holding was the hardest thing to deal with.
He's strong with it.
Yeah, he's strong with it. He's really strong with it. It's hard to shrug him off, and he leans on you. But towards the end of the fight, I've started adjusting myself a little bit. I won't give too much away in case we have a rematch. So and I'll be able to do things a lot better earlier on.
Chris, 1-1-12 draw. I saw your face. Did you think you were going to get robbed?
To be honest, I couldn't figure out how many points he'd had off and how many knockdowns there were. I was just focusing on the job at hand. I had no idea. But the boys said, I was like, I don't know what you had me. What do you have the score?
I don't know. You gave away a few rounds that you should have continued to win those rounds. Do you know what I mean? You would take. He was calm and far too calm, because he was like, Lawrence's shots became wide and he was falling in with bent arm shots, and then it was getting messy. And then you think, well, at least he was initiating the attack. I hope that they're not putting that into a Llawrence Okolie round. But the knockdowns, the point deduction, and you continually hurt him throughout the fight. He didn't hurt you in the fight.
Chris, you mentioned that Bournemouth's been starved of boxing. Do you think the fact that you've had 15,000 fans, some young kids in attendance as well, is going to usher in a new regime of Bournemouth boxing and South Coast boxing as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's grown since I started boxing. There was 3 amateur clubs here when I first started. Now there's probably 10 to 15, and that was where we're going back to when 15 years ago now, 15, 16 years ago. So boxing as a whole in this country is growing. Obviously there's been a white collar scene as well, and there's quite a lot of, there was a white collar scene, but a lot of that's sort of moved into the amateurs. A lot of amateur clubs down here now. And it's great, it's great. I think boxing for kids is brilliant in terms of what it teaches, the respect and discipline. I think, if I can leave a legacy and get kids off the street and, get them in the gyms and they become better humans for it, then that's phenomenal. That's a huge amount of pride I'll take in that.
Chris, this is already a special place for you before tonight, but when you come here and watch Cherry's games in the future, how's that going to feel?
Good question. It's going to be crazy. I need to, tonight you sort of zone out from it all. Like, obviously I've done the ring walk, and I was here the other night doing the questions and stuff, and last night did the ring walk and then rehearsal, and so like you just get used to it and a lot of visualization and stuff. So you're there, and tonight was just about focusing on the job and soaking up the atmosphere, but not getting too overwhelmed. It's definitely been difficult at times to not get overwhelmed, but it's going to be crazy. Hopefully first game of the season next year I can do a walk on the pitch, first home game, and thank the fans.
You going to Goodison tomorrow?
No, I'm going on holiday in about 8 hours time. So I've got my nutritionist wedding on Monday in abroad. So but I think it'll allow me to eat what I want.
With the success of this show, the atmosphere, the crowd, everything, Chris Victory, will there be more shows from Boxer just down this side of the equator?
Yeah, I think as well there were big wins tonight for Lee Cutler as well, and 𝗵𝗫𝗄𝗏 actually I just saw. But there's a lot of boxers coming through. There's a lot of gyms that were involved. As I said before, Portsmouth, Southampton, Salisbury. There's a lot of other areas that now will be looking at this and thinking, wow, could boxing come to the South Coast again? We've got a world champion now from Bournemouth. Hopefully we can bring many more special nights to the South Coast, and I expect that to happen over the next 12 months.
What's Chris's promotion? Where does Chris stand in terms of his promotional future with boxing?
Yeah, we work. work closely, I think everyone knows, with the McGuigans, a fantastic stable and gym. I think one thing I will say is, you know, people talk about trainers all the time and say, oh, it's a fantastic fighter that makes a trainer, but I think even Chris will agree, there won't be many people in this room that 2 years ago would have thought Chris Billam-Smith will be a world champion. And I spoke to Chris just after, and I said, look, the first 2 or 3 rounds, I thought, here it could be a shutout here, and he trusted his trainer, and he said that was the game plan, and he didn't want to get hurt. And yeah, to see the 2 of them achieve this together is pretty incredible. But yeah, to answer your question, Chris Billam-Smith is with Boxer, and we hope for a long future.
Shane, can I ask you, how much did the fight replicate the spars between the 2?
Nothing. Lawrence maintained a lot more distance, and Chris got a lot more clean shots off. But you were able to transfer into the fight. Lawrence is a little bit impatient in the fights, and that's what you see quite a lot. He's a lot more patient in sparring. He's a lot harder in sparring. I mean, a lot harder to figure out. But I want the best for Lawrence, but I know what sort of individual he is. I think he's a great fighter, but I know what makes him tick. I know where he doesn't like to work. I've spent 3.5 years with him, and Chris. So there was a time when a few cruiserweights at Sky Sports asked me to work with them, and Chris was at the same level as them, and I'd said no. And then 𝗬𝗏𝗏 asked me to train him, and Chris said to me, oh no, you got upset.
Yeah.
And I said, Chris, this is going to make you a better fighter. You're going to have a guy in the gym that's going to push you every day, and if you approach it the right way, you're going to become a much better fighter because of it. And I think tonight shows that that's the case. You know, you've put yourself into the deep end with sparring with Daniel, with Lawrence, hard punches, awkward big lads, and you know you can either sink or swim in those situations, and he's persevered. He's put it in day out. I'd also like to once again reiterate that we are with Boxer, but we're also incredibly thankful that Boxer and Sky Sports have given Chris the opportunity and backed this dream. When we first made that fight, we thought it was potentially going to do 7,000-8,000, but it was booming there tonight. And congratulations to both of you guys.
Chris, after the fight, you fell to your knees and you're visibly emotional. Can you just describe what was the feeling behind the tears that brought you to that
I
point?
just couldn't believe it. It was to be world champion. It's just it still hasn't sunk in, but like we've been through a lot together as a team in the gym. Me, Shane, and Josh Pritchard, and we've just all worked towards this. We're very, very, very close friends, and two of the best friends I have, and to experience that and have them there and
Josh is just
he's that's his cherry bear over here, and the cherries, and it was just, I couldn't believe it. It was just, I just didn't know. Yeah, just this words can't describe that feeling. I'm sure there's been people that have won a world title that can't describe that feeling, and so much hardship goes into it. And I've been away from my son for weeks on end, and that's just one part of it. I've been ill this week. That's another part. There's a lot of adversity to endeavour through, and it's been it's all that adds up to emotion when you finally achieve it.
Chris, who would you like next, and how do you think you measure up against the other champions, in particular 𝗕𝗏𝗏, who's quite vocal about saying he's the #1 in the division?
Yeah, I appreciate everyone wants to look forward, but tonight I'm just going to politely decline your question and just enjoy the moment.
Ben, Lawrence mentioned the rematch. Of course, once Chris is healed up, how soon would you like to enforce that rematch? And would you do it again at the Bournemouth Stadium after you've had such an amazing night?
Look, I think similar to Chris, I think a lot happened tonight for both fighters, and we'll look at it in the week or in the next couple of weeks, but there's no rush on our side, and I want Chris to enjoy this moment before he has to think about another fight.
Chris, you mentioned in the thing in the ring you dedicated it to your mum. Just a word on that family support right from the start to get to where you are now, from the amateur days all the way through.
Yeah, every time I talk about my mum, I end up emotional. Yeah, she's an amazing woman. She's my hero. She really is. I think, like, she's just always been my best mate and my rock. And we found out probably 6 weeks ago that she's got breast cancer. Thankfully, it's a small lump, and she had it before about 25 years ago. I had a mastectomy, so she's having another mastectomy in about 2 weeks' time. So yeah, I just wanted to dedicate that to her because she's fought it off once. She had a stroke a couple of years ago. She's got through that, and now she's fighting it again. So that's obviously where I get my fighting spirit from. And yeah, she's an amazing woman.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I think Chris needs to go on holiday and get some rest. Congratulations to the new champ. Congratulations to the whole team. Chris, you successfully brought a world title to Bournemouth, man. You deserve it. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for a great night. We'll see you at the next one.